Applejack's Bar. Written by Alaborn. Applejack wiped her brow and gazed over sweet apple acres. The apples were ripening beautifully, and in a few days, she and Big Macintosh will be busy apple bucking again. In the meantime, however, they had their new barn to finish. Inside, Apple Bloom and Granny Smith were installing the pens. Outside, Applejack and Big Macintosh were giving the barn a new fresh coat of paint, as red as her brother's coat. Applejack was about to pick up her paintbrush again, when she spotted some pony approaching the barn. "Big Macintosh," she called. "We have a visitor. You get started, and I'll deal with him," she said. "Yup," the stallion replied. The farm pony adjusted her hat, and trotted up to meet the new visitor. A fairly nondescript earth pony stallion, with a brown coat and a two-tone orange mane. "Well, howdy, partner," she greeted him enthusiastically. "Good day to you, Miss Applejack. I am Keen-Eye, from the town hall, here to conduct your annual building inspection," the stallion replied. He offered Applejack the official paperwork. Applejack gave the documents a quick once-over. "I'll be happy to escort you around," she replied. The apples prided themselves on the quality of everything they did, and kept their buildings in tip-top shape. The inspector found no problem with the farmhouse, the old barn, the silo, or the two sheds. "There's one more building to inspect," Keen-Eye said. "This says you built a new bar. Where is that building?" "A bar? That's prosperous," Applejack said. "Oh, y'all must mean the new barn," she realized. "That would make a lot more sense," Keen-Eye agreed. He double-checked his paperwork. "But this does say I'm here to inspect the bar." "Well, I don't know what to tell you, partner," Applejack said. "Y'all ain't gotta find a bar on Sweet Apple Acres." "I'll go ahead and delay my inspection for a month," Keen-Eye said. "That will give you some time to visit Town Hall and get this problem corrected." "Thank you," Applejack replied. "What do you mean there's nothing y'all can do?" Applejack stared down at the silver earth pony behind the desk. His short blue mane was perfectly arranged on his head, unruffled by the slightest bit of hard work. The twist of the red ribbon on his flank perfectly matched the name etched on the nameplate on his desk. Red tape. "I said I can't simply ignore the clearly written words on the permit the town council approved," the stallion explained evenly. "My forelegs are hobbled." "It's a typo! A typo!" Applejack exclaimed. "I'm sorry. You can raise this issue when the town council meets again." "In 5 weeks," he replied. "I want to speak to the mayor myself," Applejack stated. "I'm terribly sorry, miss. The mayor is attending the Equestrian Society of Mayors and Town Managers annual meeting in Winnipeg, and she won't be back for 10 days, Red Tape explained. "In the meantime, according to the permit, your bar is scheduled to be open in 3 days. "There ain't gonna be a bar, partner," Applejack replied angrily. "I'm afraid there'll be substantial penalties for failing to meet the requirements of your permit, Miss Applejack. And I need to remind you that the Apple Family commercial license is up for renewal soon," Red Tape added. "Ponyville is generally not interested in doing business with lawbreakers." "Would you be interested in acquiring a copy of the regulations surrounding the operation of bars and restaurants?" Red Tape offered. "There will be a nominal fee of 10 bits, of course." Applejack paced angrily around the Ponyville library as Twilight Sparkle paged through a thick legal tome. "I'm sorry, Applejack," she finally said. "As far as I can tell, everything that Red Tape told you is in accordance with the law." "I can't stand being held over a barrel like that. That varmint," Applejack spouted. "That no good, lousy, stinking varmint." "Whoa there, Applejack," Twilight Sparkle cautioned. "Is there something between you two that I don't know about?" "About 2 years ago, he asked me on a date. I turned him down. Ever since, our official interactions have been mid-cold," Applejack explained. "I'm sure he'll be helpful to any pony else." "My only consolation to you is that the town charter grants the mayor the authority to approve changes to official documents of a corrective and non-significant nature, subject to approval by the town council at their next meeting," Twilight Sparkle said. "So we just need to speak to the mayor." "Who won't be back in town for more than a week," Applejack continued. "What do I do?" Twilight Sparkle levitated several books off the library shelves. You operate a bar. You do it in accordance with all regulations and with all the same hard work you put into everything you do. And your friends will support you. Big Macintosh disassembled part of the new bar's interior, freeing up the minimal required space for the tavern. Applebloom assembled the steel doors into a makeshift bar, and Granny Smith brought out the Apple family's special reserves to sell. They all acknowledged it wasn't as bad as it could have been. For example, the family already had taps for cider season, and a soda dispenser, normally only brought out for the family reunion. Similarly, the family's picnic tables and old chairs were repurposed. But there were so many little things that Applejack needed to buy. Toothpicks, olives, mixers, those horrible little cherries with all the flavor sucked out of them. All of that was bits out of the rainy day fund, a fund already drawn down to pay the new barn. And then, of course, there was the alcohol. So many varieties of alcohol. They never think they would drink it themselves. And they were sure they weren't going to serve some of their friends or family any alcohol not made by the Apple family apples. So much waste. Night 1. Applejack stood behind the bar but looked outside. It was still light outside. She should be spending those hours bucking apples and enjoying a hearty meal with her family after sundown. But because all bars had to be open between the hours of 6 and 11 in the evening, the orange mare found herself inside the bar. The earth pony turned and stared at dozens of bottles behind her. They rested there, mocking her. They would never be opened, because no pony would walk all the way to Sweet Applejacks to. The interior of the barn grew lighter as the barn door opened. A plump earth pony mare trotted in. "Howdy, Berry Punch," Applejack greeted her. "Didn't expect any pony to come here." "My berry sense told me to come here," she said. "What's berry sense?" Applejack asked. "You know, pinky sense. It's like that, except for booze," Berry Punch replied in a matter-of-factly. She started up in the bar. "So, what do you have?" "Well, as you can see, we have a full bar. But I hope you'll try some of the Apple family's hard cider, or..." "What's in that unmarked bottle?" Berry Punch interrupted. "That's some of our special Apple family brandy blended with..." "You had me at brandy," Berry Punch interrupted again. Brandy. Pretty neat." Applejack poured Berry Punch a drink. The plum mare pounded back at the drink. "Now I'll have another." The reluctant bartender looked at the customer crossly, but he poured her a second drink. She consumed half of the second drink before setting down the glass. "So, why'd you come all the way here?" Applejack asked Berry Punch. "The bars in town don't want my business," Berry Punch replied. Applejack looked at the mirror curiously. As the evening progressed, she began to understand why. The more she drank, the louder Berry Punch became. She lost any concept of personal space, and switched rapidly between exuberance and depression. "This is good stuff," Berry Punch slurred as she picked up her fifth glass. "What am I drinking again?" "As I tried to explain before, it's the Apple family apple brandy blended with whiskey." Berry Punch hugged Applejack. "That is brilliant. You should totally sell that. You should name it after yourself." Applejack pushed the plum mare away. "Yeah, maybe," she said noncommittally. At least she was earning some bits for her family this evening. "Oh, I forgot my purse," Berry Punch said. "Push this in my tab." Applejack stared at Berry Punch. "Get out," she hissed. Night 2. Aboard Applejack was reading the bartender's guide for the 8th time when the bar door opened. A cyan Pegasus with a rainbow-colored mane flew in, executing a quick tour of the makeshift bar. "So, this is what you're stuck doing?" Rainbow Dash asked, taking a seat at the bar. "Yeah," Applejack said. "Never thought I'd see the day," the Pegasus said. "That makes two of us," Applejack agreed. "So, what did the termite say when he walked into the bar?" Rainbow Dash joked, without allowing Applejack to answer. She continued, "Is this a bartender?" She guffawed, pounding the bar with a hoof. "Dash, the regulations surrounding running a bar in Ponyville give me a right to refuse service to any pony," Applejack warned. Okay, chill. I just thought you appreciated a joke," Rainbow Dash said. "This is more like a nightmare," Applejack said. "Let me brighten your mood by buying something." So, what do you sell here? Rainbow Dash asked. Well, our specialty is Apple Family Hard Cider. We also have... Whoa! You have cider? Rainbow Dash interjected. That's not hard. That's an easy choice. Dash. These ain't the cider we sell each fall, Applejack mentioned. The Pegasus slammed 2 bits on the counter. Cider me! Applejack cautiously uncorked the chilled bottle and passed it to her friend. Rainbow Dash took the bottle in one hoof and drank a mouthful of the hard cider. You're right, she agreed. This isn't like your normal cider. This is better! It even beats a fresh squeezed rain cloud after a busy day on weather patrol. The Earth Pointer regarded the Pegasus suspiciously. What do you know about a busy day? She said. It took a long time to clear the clouds that drifted over the town from the Everfree Forest today, Rainbow Dash said. I barely had time for all my other work. Uh-huh, Applejack said, unconvinced. Rainbow Dash drained the bottle and set it onto the table. Ah, that hit the spot. I'll have another. Dash. This stuff is brewed for the Apple family. You know, hardy earth ponies, not lightweight Pegasi. I don't think you should drink this like regular cider, Applejack cautioned. Rainbow Dash glared at Applejack. You saying I'm lightweight? That I'm not tough? She dropped 10 more bits on the bar. I accept the challenge. The farmer turned bartender had some understanding about the biological differences that made it easier for Pegasi to get drunk.
She'll be asleep before finishing the third bottle,
Applejack thought. Rainbow Dash grew louder as she drank the second bottle of cider. The Pegasus never really stood still, as if her body were telling her to move even when she was consistently trying to remain still. But the swaying she displayed while sitting on the bar stool wasn't this familiar movement. That was awesome! More! Rainbow Dash shouted.
Dash, you're going to regret it tomorrow if y'all don't stop drinking, Applejack warned.
I never regret awesome, she replied as she held out her hoof. Applejack was surprised of how coherent her friend's speech remained, even as her body betrayed the cider's influence. She sighed. If there's one way Rainbow Dash was most like her, it was her stubbornness. Applejack passed over the third bottle. You're going to keep selling this, right? Rainbow Dash asked. I'm not planning on it, Applejack replied honestly. 'Cause I'm going to keep buying, every day, the Pegasus continued. Her swaying grew more pronounced. Instinctual commands that caused the Pegasus' wing to flare out, slight movements helping her maintain her balance. Rainbow Dash finished her third bottle of cider faster than her second. Applejack was impressed at her friend's toughness, but was afraid of continuing to serve her. I don't think you can handle another, Applejack said. So I am, Rainbow Dash announced loudly. You don't even look like any condition to sit, let alone walk, Applejack said. I'll show you, Rainbow Dash said, as her wings opened.
Uh-oh, that sounds like bad news,
Applejack thought. The speaky Pegasus had been inebriated, but the muscles behind her wings remained powerful. She took off, gaining elevation almost effortlessly. Applejack dashed out behind the bar, taking some solace in the fact that her friend wouldn't be able to fly too high. Rainbow Dash flew in an instinct by honed of years of practice, but knowing not what didn't help was the alcohol in her bloodstream that slowed down everything. Time for a nap, she muttered, and closed her eyes. Unfortunately, she was still in the air. The cyan Pegasus wing locked, and she spiraled downward. Applejack watched her descent, worried. Please don't hurt yourself, she whispered. The Earth Pony ran around, trying to stay under her friend. Not the bottles! She shouted as Rainbow Dash neared the ground. Applejack reared and caught the Pegasus in her forelegs. She tumbled onto the ground, almost smashing into the bar. Captain of the Wonderbolts? Of course, Rainbow Dash muttered. Applejack got her hooves and picked up Rainbow Dash. Nothing was left to do but let her sleep and make sure she was okay, and say, I told you so, in the morning. Night 3. I never thought I'd see this on a farm. Applejack leveled her eyes at the new arrival. Purveyor of carrots, bane of the marketplace, eternal rival, Carrot Top. She was always trying to convince ponies that vegetables were better than fruits, and now she was here.
This could happen to you if you're not careful, Applejack warned.
Oh, I doubt that. So, what are you serving? The orange-maned earth pony wondered.
The house specialty is the Apple Family Hard Cider, and some of the Apple Family Apple Brandy Blend, said Applejack.
So, what do you have that isn't hoof made by the apples? Carrot Top asked.
Pretty much everything else, Applejack admitted.
A beer, then, Carrot Top requested. Applejack picked out a cold beer from the untouched selection of purchased alcohol and slid the bottle to Carrot Top. Carrot Top nursed the beer. Bothered by the quiet, Applejack finally asked,
So, what brings you here?
Market isn't the same without you, Carrot Top admitted. All your brother does is sell apples. There's no laughable attempt to tell parents that apples are good for their foals, when every pony knows that it's vegetables that make foals grow big and strong.
You know, Carrot Top, I think you're old enough to know the truth. Currants aren't good for the eyes. That's just an old mare's tale, Applejack retorted.
An apple a day does not keep the doctor away. It's about time you admitted that yourself, Carrot Top continued.
And I think you should be worried about all the rabbits steal from my farm, Applejack said. What kind of carrot farmer has rabbits? Rabbits! Ignoring her.
I heard Cheerly hates it when her students bring her apples, Carrot Top offered.
Hates it!
The two mares stared at each other, serious expressions on their faces. Applejack was the first to shift, the corners of her mouth lifting slightly. Carrot Top started to smile as well. Soon, the farmers were sharing an exuberant laugh.
I can't wait until this stupid situation gets resolved, Applejack said. I'm gonna go to the market, and I'm gonna sell like I never sold before.
Oh, you're gonna try selling well? Carrot Top teased. Applejack stared at her rival's green eyes.
I'll outsell you for sure. Ain't much of a challenge, I know.
That sounds like a bet, Carrot Top said. My bottle of carrot vodka against your bottle of apple brandy. Applejack spit onto her hoof and extended her foreleg towards her rival. Carrot Top met Applejack's hoof with her own.
You're on,
both mares said simultaneously. Night 4. 2 hours had passed on the fourth night of operations. The only visitor so far was Apple Bloom, bringing in her older sister dinner. Applejack still didn't want to be here, but she did miss being able to talk to some pony. Any pony. The barn door creaked. Applejack smiled as she raised her head as she said, Welcome. Then, she regretted the word when she saw the pony who walked in. The silver-coated earth pony stallion smiled as he surveyed the establishment. Quaint, he said.
Well, how do you do, Red Tape? Applejack said coldly. I hope you're here for a drink.
Indeed I am, Miss Applejack. I do enjoy going out for a drink on the occasional evening. Red Tape took a seat at the bar and placed 3 bits on it. A Manhattan cocktail, please. Applejack poured whiskey and vermouth into a glass and added a dash of bitters. She added a Machinero cherry and hoofed over the glass. That's not a Manhattan, Red Tape said.
What do you mean?
Applejack replied. You added dry vermouth, not sweet vermouth, she added.
Huh?
Applejack said, as she turned and paged through the borrowed book of drink recipes.
Huh. You're right.
Applejack remade the cocktail.
You know, if you want things like correctly made drinks, then why aren't you drinking at a place run by some pony with talent?
She commented. I'm a citizen of Ponyville, interested in trying all the town's businesses, he explained. Red Tape consumed his cocktail in silence. When he finished, he stood up and left a 1-bit tip, and said, Thanks for the drink. The least eventful customer for Applejack's bar turned out to be at least the satisfying one. Night 5. Early in the 5th evening, the barn door opened to admit the makeshift bar's 5th customer. Unlike every pony else, the lavender unicorn chose to sit at one of the tables, claiming a seat at the corner.
Howdy, Twilight, Applejack called. Y'all want something to drink?
Twilight Sparkle kept her eyes on the trio of books, paper, ink, and quills as he levitated out of her saddlebags. Nothing hard for me tonight. I'll just have a tonic water with lime, she requested.
Coming right up, the Earth Pony said. Applejack poured the drink and carried over to her friend. What do you got there? She asked. One of the 3 books was open, and Twilight Sparkle was already taking notes on her magically animated quill. Just a little studying. The unicorn didn't lift her eye from the text he spoke. Sugar Cube, don't you live in a library? Applejack said. Of course. It's just that, you see, Spike is shedding scales right now. It's a bit distracting, Twilight Sparkle explained. Applejack collected the 2 bits Twilight Sparkle had placed on the table and headed back to the bar. Is Spike okay being alone? She asked. He's fine, Applejack. It's just a lot of itching. Nothing dangerous. I left him with a bottle of medicated lotion and 3 tubs of chocolate ice cream, both of which make him feel better, Twilight Sparkle said. Guess that means he'll be okay, Applejack commented as she wiped dry some glasses. Plus, if I'm there, he'll actively complain. When he's shedding, he likes soliciting sympathy from any pony in earshot, the unicorn added. I needed to study someplace I knew would be quiet. Twilight Sparkle glanced up when he heard Applejack set a glass down on the bar with a resounding thud. The Earth Pony was staring off into space, looking perturbed. What's wrong, Applejack? Twilight Sparkle asked. None, Applejack replied. You can tell me, Twilight Sparkle urged. Applejack shook her head. It's nothing, she said again. The Earth Pony looked back. Twilight Sparkle had pushed away her study materials. She actually closed her book and moved it to the far corner of the table. Just sit, the unicorn ordered. I said something wrong, and I'm sorry, but you should talk about what's bothering you. Applejack dropped the towel on the bar and took a seat opposite from Twilight Sparkle. You know I don't want to do this, right? The Earth Pony said. I read you loud and clear when you were talking to me about this originally, Twilight Sparkle responded. Yeah, but since I'm doing this, I want to be the best I can, and this is not my best. This is a failure, Applejack stated. Oh, I wouldn't say that, Applejack, Twilight Sparkle argued. You're doing a great job in a role that you never filled before. You're willing to do anything to help your farm, and this experience proves it. The way things are going, it's gonna hurt my farm in the end. Even if we get the mayor to put an end to this, Applejack said. Look, Applejack, I have an appointment with the mayor the day she gets back. Come with me. I'll make sure she corrects that permit. As for... Twilight Sparkle trailed off. You know, I should have left Spike alone. That wasn't a good thing for me to do, as a parental figure or as a friend. Twilight Sparkle's horn glowed, and her books and papers returned to her saddlebags. I'll see you later, Applejack, she said. And with Twilight Sparkle's rapid departure, Applejack found herself alone again. Night 6. Applejack turned into the crank of the well, drawing up the bucket of cool, fresh water. Following a day of hard work, she always headed to the well. The Earth Pony drank deeply, then splashed her face with the refreshing liquid. Her mood soured as she considered the evening of the non-work facing her. Gotta get to it anyway, she mused as she walked into the new barn. What Applejack saw as he opened the door stopped at their tracks. The entire barn was transformed. Strips of cloth hung from the wooden walls, softening the interior and making it feel more intimate. Cloth tablecloths that covered the tables, and candle-sized magic lights that illuminated the interior warmly. Additional tables had been brought in and were covered in cupcakes. Finally, the Apple family piano was moved onto the barn. Pinkie Pie suddenly appeared behind Applejack. Do you like it? Huh? She asked excitedly. How did you... She started before seeing the rest of her best friends step out from behind the bar, where they had been hiding. Applejack, we're here to make sure you have at least one successful night as a bar owner, Twilight Sparkle explained. I simply adore the chance to refine the decor here, Rarity said. Pinkie Pie popped out under the table of cupcakes. And I make cupcakes for every pony! She waved her hoof over her creations. We have extra salty salted caramel cupcakes, and extra spicy hot chocolate sauce cupcakes, and sour lime margarita cupcakes. Every pony will love them. And then, every pony will be super thirsty. We all spread the word throughout Ponyville that Applejack's bar was happening place to be tonight, Rainbow Dash said.
This is wonderful and all, Applejack uttered, but, this is not too much. Nonsense! We are all here to help you, Twilight Sparkle explained, even if your family is onto this. Rarity leaned out the door. That's your cue, she called. After a moment, she continued. Oh, don't be like that. You look fabulous. A slightly embarrassed Big Macintosh walked into the barn, wearing a fine tuxedo. You're a server today, Rarity told Applejack. Used to see how many mares wanted to come when I mentioned I was planning to put your brother on a tuxedo. Applejack was positive there. There was a blush hidden under her brother's red coat. Granny Smith walked into the barn. And I'll be playing some lively tunes on their piano, she said. Pinkie Pie entered the barn, despite no pony seeing her leave. Apple Bloom is arriving with the first group of guests. Everybody get ready to party, she exclaimed.
This is what I was missing,
Applejack thought. It seemed like all of Ponyville was here, and she was busy, gloriously busy. She was joined by Fluttershy and Twilight Sparkle in making drinks. Rainbow Dash delivered the drinks to the ponies who wanted their drinks as fast as possible, while Big Macintosh balanced trays of drinks for the guests who wanted more to see Big Macintosh carry a tray of drinks. Rarity and Pinkie Pie served as impromptu hostages. Granny Smith's collection of rushes and surprisingly bawdy piano tunes kept up the crowd's energies. Little Apple Bloom kept herself busy using the dirty glasses back to the farmhouse, where Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo helped her clean them. While the other two Crusaders weren't interested in a dishwashing cutie mark, they were interested in helping Applejack, no matter whether or not the endeavor would grant a cutie mark. As the night progressed, the feeling of accomplishment was magnified by seeing bits accumulate the old box being used as a till. Even Berry Punch had come back to pay her tab and get another drink. It turns out the mayor couldn't resist the promise of Pinkie Pie's margarita cupcakes. At the same time, the levels of bottles of alcohol fell. Dozens of bottles were emptied that night. As the crowds finally dwindled, Applejack noticed that it was 2 hours past her normal close. The clock that she had installed into the countdown of the minutes of her imprisonment had been forgotten during the busy evening. Her brother trotted up to her, his bow tie finally loosened. Sis, you're going to town hall with Twilight tomorrow, and then you're taking the rest of the day off, he ordered. Sure thing, she agreed. Day 7. Of course that should say barn, Mayor Maris said. Even without confirming it, by looking at the minutes of the past council meetings, it shouldn't have been obvious to any pony. She corrected the permit and initialed the correction. I'll add this to the agenda for the next meeting, and let Kenai know he can finish an inspection. Thank you kindly, Mayor, Applejack said. I'm just glad I was able to find you had this authority by reading the town charter, Twilight Sparkle said. Why didn't Red Tape fix this? Mayor asked. He was in charge when I was gone. He said there was nothing we can do, Applejack replied. You could have done exactly what I did, the mayor said. Twilight Sparkle pondered the town charter for a moment. Does the provision of the charter that grants you this authority allow it to be used by the mayor's designated representative? He asked. I'm not sure, the mayor admitted, but I certainly wouldn't have criticized him for making the right decision. I guess a mayor just has a different skill set than a bureaucrat. Applejack looked as she wanted to say something. Words were almost visibly caught in her throat. Twilight Sparkle looked at her encouragingly. Finally, the orange mayor spoke. Our suspect's Red Tape acted that way for his personal, non-professional reasons. The mayor nodded. It seemed that she knew what Applejack meant. That's disappointing to hear, the mayor said. I promise you I'll talk to him, but I'll doubt he'll admit to anything. Really, I don't have any grounds to criticize him if he did anything by the book. Twilight Sparkle suddenly smiled. Mayor, would you mind if Applejack and I spend some time looking through the town records? She asked. Of course, the mayor replied. Good luck finding what you're looking for. The next Sunday. Red Tape relaxed at the kitchen table. Sunday was his favorite day of the week, and he always started it out with a cup of tea and a Sunday Manhattan Times. A relaxing morning, uninterrupted by, he heard a knock on the door. A relaxing morning. The knocking was inconsistent. Sighing, the Silver Stallion stood up and walked to the door. Good morning, Red Tape, said Kenai, as Red Tape opened the door. I have your inspection scheduled for today.
On a Sunday? Red Tape wondered. The mayor asked me to schedule this inspection as soon as possible, Kenai responded. Red Tape shrugged and admitted to the brown earth pony. Kenai inspected the doors, windows, and the ceiling off the ground floor. I see a few superficial cracks on the plaster, but it's nothing you need to repair, he said. Shall we head upstairs? Red Tape nodded. The two stallions headed upstairs. Kenai was checking the stairwell carefully. He peered down the hallway and then referred to his notes. It says here you built an expansion to the second floor since your last expansion, extended the hallway, and added a bedroom and a bathroom. Yes, Red Tape agreed, before correcting himself. Wait, you mean bathroom, right? Kenai checked his paperwork for the second time. The permit says bedroom and bathroom, he stated in a matter-of-factly. Red Tape checked the document himself. That's clearly a typo, he claimed. You could take that up to the town council's next meeting. In 3 weeks, Kenai said. He started down the stairs. For now, I'm going to help you pass your inspection. A chill passed down Red Tape's spine as he followed the inspector. What do you mean by that? He asked hesitantly. Kenai leaned down the front door. Are you ready, Fluttershy? He called. The butter yellow Pegasus stepped the door and a covered cage in her mouth, then set it down inside the doorway. Thank you for building a bathroom, Mr. Red Tape, Fluttershy said. These 6 adorable critters have been waiting so long to get adopted. Red Tape's jaw hung open. He tried to move, tried to say something, but the shock of the situation prevented him from acting before Fluttershy pulled the blanket off the cage. Hideous winged rats! Beady eyes! Squished faces! Red Tape started to sweat. The whole scene moved into a slow motion as the Pegasus lifted the latch and opened the cages. Excited squeaking filled the air as the monstrosities flew from the cage. One landed on Red Tape's mane. The stallion passed out most ingloriously. Oh my, Fluttershy said. I never seen any pony so excited to adopt a pet. The end. Howdy everybody, Snogwritts here. I kinda grew into the country accent myself when I was trying to voice Applejack in this dub. Boy was it a lot of fun. Nevertheless, it was a great story indeed. Now that we're done with the reading, let's start reviewing it. Okay, so here's this. The humor in this fic is very well done. I definitely laughed a few times when I was reading this for the first time. The original characters that Arthur included in this fic are very well developed, and it makes it intriguing for them to read. That's why I definitely enjoyed this fic. Although, on the other hand, I felt like there were some misused words during the context. It's usually a context problem, not really when it comes to like involving the plot, but it does affect it a bit if you're not using the right words. For example, during the Spike part, it said soliciting, which is actually asking for, but yet again, Twilight Sparkle actually left Spike there, so it doesn't really fit the context there. And it kind of occurs several times when it comes to misused words or with this Arthur. Basically, if Twilight claims that Spike didn't want her there at the moment when she was shedding his skin, but on the actual context, it actually says that Spike actually wants her to be there, then it kind of gives the reader a little confusion and it kind of leaves him hanging. So be careful when you're using words, especially soliciting. Really, in my opinion, if you read the actual fic, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, let's wrap this video up. Thank you all for listening. I definitely enjoyed reading this to all of you. Oh, and by the way, fellow viewer, if you so, please click on that like button and sub to the channel. I upload weekly dubs. Alright, that's it for me. This is Snogwritts, signing out.